Welcome to Photoshop Layers and Auto Adjustments. In this class, we're going to talk about different kind of layers that we have in Photoshop, as well as the effects of them, and then some auto adjustments that Photoshop has pre-built in. Let's dive right into it. Our first layer type is an image layer, and that just has pixel-based images. Our second layer type is an adjustment layer, and that gives us the ability to do non-destructive editing. We can add effects to our image that can then be toggled on and off without editing or affecting our original image. We have shape layers, which just allows us to put in these vector-based shapes into our images. And then we have text layers, which is basically just text that is on a layer as a layer in Photoshop. Lastly, we have smart layers, which is basically these images or vector items that are placed into our Photoshop, but they become linked to their original image and can be edited in their original source. So vector smart object that was created in Illustrator can be then edited in Illustrator. We can also group and label our layers. You can either click on the group icon or hit Command G, and that'll group them together. You can label them. This will help organize, lock groups together, and just keep your layer panel easy to navigate. Okay, so for auto adjustments, we are actually going to open up a file called Auto Adjustments. And you can find that by going to Open, Command O would be the shortcut, and go into the folder called Auto Adjustments and find the file Auto Adjustments, open it up. Now I already have my layers panel on the right hand side of my screen, but if you can't find yours, you can always go to Window and Layers and then it'll pop up. I'm going to unlock my first layer, and then I'm going to make 3 more copies of it, so I get a total of 4 of that same layer. I'm going to rename each of my copy layers. So the first one I'm going to call Auto Tone. My next one I'm going to call Auto Contrast. And then my third one I am going to call Auto Color. I'm always going to know what layer I'm selected on because that layer will be highlighted in a softer gray. And the layer that I'm selected on is the layer that the edits that I make will happen on. So make sure that you're selected on the correct layer. Now the first effect that I want to apply is Auto Tone. So I'm going to toggle off the other 2 layers, and I'm going to go to Image and Auto Tone. And I can see what happened there is the tone of my image, so the lighting and the shadows, got adjusted, and it has like a vibrant pop to it. For the auto contrast, I'm going to toggle on that layer, and I'm going to go to Image, Auto Contrast, and that'll pop the contrast in my image. And I'm going to do the same for Auto Color, and that'll just sort of adjust the coloring within my image. Depending on what image you use, you'll see the effect come up in different ways in that image. Now, my layer visibility, even if the eyeball icon is toggled on all of my layers, I will always see what's on top first. So if I want a specific part of the image or a specific image to be up top, I have to either toggle off the layers that are above it, or I can move around my layers and adjust which one is higher up than the others. Now to save this file, I'm going to hit Command S or File Save. And I'm going to save it as a Photoshop file. I'm calling it Auto Adjustments. The benefit of saving it as a Photoshop file is that then I can go back and edit my original file, whereas if I were to save it as an image, I wouldn't have the possibility to edit it. The downside is that it does take up more space in your hard drive. And that is all for this lesson. I will see you in the next one.